Okay, so today's episode we are talking about a few different methods how you can keep your training interesting. Now, this is very relevant for anyone who might be training from home, who might be getting a little bit stale in their workouts, or even anyone once you get back to the gym who wants a little bit more excitement in their stock standard training. Now, quite often I talk about on this podcast that structured training is an absolute godsend for hikers, in the sense that if you can put a little bit of structure behind your training programs, it can just absolutely blow up your results in regards to fitness, in regards to strength, in regards to pain prevention. Now, when I generally program for my clients and talk about on this podcast, it's sort of traditional structure in which I'll say, look, you do this particular exercise, you do this amount of repetitions, you repeat that 3 or 4 or 5 times, and you repeat that, and then you move on to the next exercise and go like that. That's really stock standard. That's really simple, and that does work 100%. However, as we're training from home at the moment, or most people are training from home at the moment, sometimes that type of training can get a little bit stale. It can get a little bit boring. Maybe you just need something a little bit more exciting to motivate you to train, or maybe you just need a little bit of kick up the bum just to do something a little bit different. So today I'm going to be talking you through a range of different methods which you can apply into your own training, which can just bring a little bit extra excitement. Now, none of this is new, and this is none of this stuff I've created myself, but it's just a few different methods trainers around the world use to spice up their workouts. So I'm just going to run you through a list of them today. Some of them might appeal to you, some of them might not, but you can keep them up your sleeve for your training. Now, this is inspired by a conversation I was having again with online client Linny. She was inspired in an episode last week, but basically we were having our weekly coaching call. We were talking through workouts and how everything was going, and we'd actually changed to one of these particular methods in one of the workouts just randomly. There wasn't any particular reasoning for it, but then she reported back. She was like, you know what, that was awesome. Like, I was so much more motivated. It got me, like, really pumped me up while I was at home. It's a little bit more exciting, and I was like, you know what, if you're enjoying it, then I'm sure plenty more people will as well. So that was inspiration towards today's episode. But anyway, let's get into the methods. Method number 1 is something that's called an AMRAP, which stands for as many rounds as possible. Now, basically what you want to do here is you want to set yourself a time limit. It can be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, literally doesn't matter, whatever you have time available. And then you're going to choose either your normal exercises that you do, or just a normal circuit, like put together a 4 or 5 exercise circuit. So for example, a standard one that I often do with my hikers might be 10 backpack squats, 10 hip thrusts, a minute plank, and then 10 calf raises, just randomly. And what you're going to do is literally just choose those 4 exercises and you repeat them as many times as you can in that time limit. Now, the beauty here is you can get a little bit competitive, you can get a little bit excited, you can go bang, 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 and you can sort of try and beat yourself each time you go through. You can literally use any exercises in the world there, but it is very effective. You probably wouldn't be doing that so much in your day-to-day training like a lot of people do, but when you're training from home, it can be a fun thing just to cram a whole bunch of exercise in a short amount of time. So AMRAP, as many rounds as possible, is method number 1. Now, method number 2 is what's known as a chipper workout. So traditionally in workouts, what we do is we'll get a particular number of exercises. We'll say we're going to do 10 repetitions or 15 repetitions, move on to the next one, 10, 15, move on to the next one, repeat them, and then go back to the first one and do it all there. So you might end up doing, if you're saying doing 10 repetitions of a squat, and then 10 repetitions of a deadlift and 10 repetitions of a sit-up, even though I hate sit-ups, let's just use that example. You might do 3 sets of that or 4 sets of that. You'll end up doing 40 squats, but you sort of break it up. In a chipper workout, basically, you're just going to take a total number of exercise and you have to complete that as quickly as you can before you move on to the next exercise. So for example, you would say I'm going to do 40 squats, then 40 push-ups, then 40 lunges, and then 40 whatevers. And then you just basically have to do 40 in a row before you change it up. Now, this is sometimes not fun, but for the masochists out there, sometimes it's really fun. And it can just bring an extra burn, a little bit extra intensity into the workouts and everything you go in there. So instead of breaking the workout up, you're just one exercise at a time and you finish the workout feeling pretty shattered. Again, this isn't something I'd probably recommend as a structured program when you're doing it leading to an adventure, but if you're training at home, this can be a really fun thing to do just to mix things up. The next one is a pyramid workout. So as I said before, sometimes generally in our training programs, we'll say, look, I'm going to do 4 sets of 10 repetitions. You just do the same thing. You might change your weight each set and so on. In a pyramid one, you're basically changing the number of repetitions every single set you do. So for example, you might do 5 sets. First set's 5 repetitions, second's 10, third's 15, fourth is 10, last is 5. So in a pyramid shape, it goes up and then down. That can be really, really fun in the sense that it just breaks things up. This is the particular one I was using with Linny, my online client, which she loved. And she was just like, you know what, it was actually really good. But I got through that third set and everything felt a lot easier and it was awesome. So that's a really easy thing to do. Alternatively, you can do a reverse pyramid, which is just starting high. So you might start 15, then 10, then 5, then 10, then 15. Same thing, but a little bit different. So really, really easy way to break things up. Next one is a ladder round. So pretty similar to the pyramids, in which sense you're changing repetitions every single round. But here you're basically going to start off in a small amount of repetitions, and then every single round you do, you're going to add a little bit extra. So for example, you might do, let's say we're going to do squats, push-ups, and sit-ups. Again, I don't like sit-ups, but I'll use that as an example. First round you do 2 of everything. Then every single round you do, you add an extra 2 repetitions. So you do 2 reps of everything, 4 reps of everything, 8 reps of everything, 10 reps of everything, and you keep on building up to a particular number. And you can either do that in a time limit, so you say you do 10 minutes and just keep on building up, or you can do it in a particular number and you build up until 20, or you can come all the way back down. So a ladder workout's a really, really easy way of mixing things up. The next one is an EMOM, which stands for every minute on the minute. So this one is basically you're choosing either one exercise or a range of exercises you're going to complete. What you're going to be doing is breaking up every single minute into a separate round, and you're going to complete the set exercises as quick as you can at the start of the minute, and then whatever time you have remaining inside that particular minute, that's your rest. And then when it comes to the start of the next minute, you're going to go do the repetitions again, and then you rest, and you just keep on going for a certain amount of time. So how that looks is, for example, let's say you're going to do 10 squats. As timer goes, you do 10 squats as quickly as you can, and that might take you 30 seconds. If you do it in 30 seconds, you get 30 seconds rest until the start of the next minute, and then you go again, and you keep on doing that. Or alternatively, if you want to go a bit quicker, you might do it in 20 seconds, you get 40 seconds rest. Or if you want to go slower, you take 50 seconds, you only get 10 seconds rest. And then basically every single minute, you get a little bit more tired, it gets a little bit harder to keep up, and it turns into a really good workout. You can do the same thing by adding a few exercises in there. So you might do 4 lunges, 4 push-ups, and 4 squats. And then you do that as quick as you can, and exactly the same thing. And you'd set this as a time for maybe 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes even if you're feeling brave, and you can work your way through that. And again, that can be a really, really fun way of just breaking up your workouts a little bit. And then the final thing I want to talk about is drop sets. So basically drop sets are just a method that many bodybuilders use in the gym to sort of get a bit of extra muscle stimulus. At home, they can be a really good way of just getting a little bit extra stimulus when you don't really have a huge availability to weights. So basically what you're going to be doing here is you're going to be doing a single exercise, and you're going to be doing multiple sets of it back to back, but each set you do, you're going to reduce the weight a little bit. So for example, what this might look like, let's use squat as an example. You are going to do 10 backpack squats. So you're going to load up your pack with a whole bunch of weight. You're going to do 10 of those, get a good burn of your legs. As soon as you start to do those 10, you're going to drop your backpack. You're going to grab, let's say a couple of water bottles, and then you're going to do 10 front squats holding those water bottles, or something a little bit heavier if you've got dumbbells or kettlebell or whatever. And you can do 10 of those. And then by the time of that, your legs are going to be pretty tired and you won't be able to do so many more. And you drop that and then you do 10 bodyweight squats. So each time you do it, the idea behind it is you reach that sort of limit where you couldn't really do a huge amount more, and then you just reduce the weight and do something else. Really, really simple, but it's a nice way of just mixing things up. And you can do the same thing with say lunges. And you can, instead of changing weight, you could change the type of exercise. So for the first set, you might do Bulgarian split squats, where you have your back foot up on a bench and you sink down a normal lunge. You do 10 of those, your legs are pretty shaky and tired, and you're like, I can't do any more of those. So then you put your back foot on the floor and you do a normal lunge. And then you do 10 of those, your legs are pretty shaky and tired, you're like, I can't do any more of those. And then you might do 10 step-ups. And then each time it gets a little bit easier, but seeing you're so tired, it's still a fair amount of stimulus. And that could be a nice way of mixing things up. But yeah, if you are trying to mix up your workouts a little bit, there are a few ideas there for you to have a think about. If any of those weren't so clear at all, feel free to swing me an email or just plug it into Google and there'll be a million explanations around how to do those things. And this time of home training, it really is, as we said before, it's not so much optimal training we're looking at right now, but it's just practical. What can you do to get yourself through the workouts? What can you do to keep yourself entertained and keep yourself positive? And what can you do to bring a little bit of fun to this? So I hope you've enjoyed this episode today, guys. I hope you got a little bit of insight, a little bit of value out of it. If you have enjoyed it, as I've said, please, I would absolutely love if you can leave a review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to. Reviews are a huge part of me helping this podcast grow, and it's a huge part of my business, so I really would appreciate it. So any comments, please do let me know. But if not, have a lovely day, and we'll talk to you very, very soon. Bye.